Hey, welcome. Today, we are going to tackle one of the trickiest parts of writing, punctuating dialogue. Seriously, by the end of this, you'll have all the rules and patterns down to make your characters' conversations look sharp, clean, and totally professional. All right, let's dive right in.
You know the feeling, right? You've just written this killer line of dialogue, but then you just stop. You're staring at the screen, wondering, is that a comma, a full stop? Does it go inside the quotes or outside? It can be super confusing, I get it. But don't you worry, we are going to solve that for good, right now. So, before we get into the really specific stuff, we need to lay down a solid foundation. There are three, let's call them golden rules, that are behind pretty much all dialogue punctuation. Once you get these down, trust me, the harder parts get a whole lot simpler. Okay, rule number one. Every piece of dialogue starts with a capital letter, just like any other sentence. Easy. Number two, all your punctuation, commas, question marks, you name it, gets tucked neatly inside the final quotation mark. And third, if you have a little tag like she said before the dialogue, you've got to introduce the quote with a comma.
Let's see those golden rules in action right here. Take a look at this sentence. See that comma right after said? Perfect. Then the dialogue, I am ready, starts with a capital I. And notice where that full stop is? It's right inside the closing quote. This is your classic setup, your bread and butter. You'll see this everywhere. All right, now that we've got that foundation locked in, things get even easier. You might think there are a million different ways to write dialogue, but honestly, almost every single line you'll ever write follows one of three basic patterns. Once you learn to spot them, punctuation just becomes second nature. And here they are. We call them speech first, which is when the talking comes before we know who's talking, speech last, where we name the speaker first, and split speech, where that little tag breaks up the line. For today, we're going to focus mostly on the first two, because the relationship between them is where almost all the confusion happens. So let's put the two most common ones side by side so you can really see what's going on. On the left, speech last, Rhea asked, "Where are you?" See the comma after asked and the question mark inside. Standard stuff. But now, look at the right. Speech first. "Where are you?" asked Rhea. Look really closely. The punctuation is different, isn't it? This right here is the exact spot where most people get tripped up. So let's really zoom in on that speech first pattern. There is one crucial, and I mean crucial, secret to getting this right every single time. And honestly, it'll completely change how you look at the sentence. Getting this one little idea is probably the biggest takeaway for mastering dialogue.
Okay, look at this example one more time. Where are you? Asked Rhea. Pay super close attention to the punctuation at the end of the actual spoken words. It's a question mark, right? But what if it wasn't a question? What if it was just a regular statement? Would we put a full stop there? The answer to that is a hard no, and we're about to see why.
Here's the big secret. The entire thing, "Where are you?" asked Rhea, is actually one single sentence. The tag "asked Rhea" isn't separate, it's just the end of that sentence. And think about it. You can't just stick a full stop in the middle of a sentence, can you? Of course not. That's why you have to use a comma instead. Now, a question mark or an exclamation point can take the place of the comma, but you still keep going with a lowercase letter because the sentence isn't over yet. So just think of it as a simple four-step process. 1, write out the part that's actually spoken. 2, choose your end mark, a comma for a normal statement or a question mark or exclamation point if it's got more punch. 3, and this is always, always true, tuck that mark inside the quotation. And finally, 4, finish your sentence with a speech tag, making sure it starts with a lowercase letter. And here it is again, but this time with an exclamation point. See how "come quickly" has the punctuation tucked inside, and then the sentence just flows right along with a lowercase s for "shouted Ali." You're seeing the pattern now, right? It's all just one smooth, flowing sentence. Okay, so we've talked through the theory, but let's be real, the best way to make these rules actually stick is to put them into practice. So let's do a quick little exercise. Go ahead and pause right here for a second. Your mission is simple. Write 2 short lines of dialogue. Use the examples you see here as a guide. First, write one where the speech comes first, and remember that special comma rule. Then write another one where the speech comes last. Go on, give it a shot. And there you have it. You just used the 2 most common dialogue patterns in all of writing. By putting those golden rules together with the logic of that speech first comma, you now have everything you need to write clean, professional-looking dialogue with total confidence.
So the next time you're writing, you're not going to have to guess anymore. You're actually going to understand the why behind the punctuation. The only real question left is how are you going to use these patterns to control the rhythm of your conversations and make your own writing even more dynamic? That's all for today.